There's a quiet revolution happening in backyards, small farms, and even forgotten plots of land, and most people haven't noticed it yet. While industrial agriculture continues to rely on expensive synthetic fertilizers and chemical inputs, a completely different approach has been gaining ground, one that doesn't come from a lab but from the forest floor itself. It's simple, it's affordable, and it works with nature instead of trying to overpower it. Gardeners who adopt it are seeing stronger plants, richer soil, and dramatically lower costs. This isn't a trend or a passing experiment, it's a return to something older, deeper, and far more sustainable. If you care about growing your own food, restoring soil, or understanding the systems that quietly shaped agriculture long before modern industry, this method is worth your attention. Before we dive in, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who's serious about gardening, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Nature's Flora so you don't miss the next deep dive into powerful, time-tested growing methods. Korean natural farming, often shortened to KNF, is built on a principle that turns modern agriculture on its head. Instead of feeding plants directly with synthetic nutrients, it focuses on feeding the life within the soil. Healthy soil is not just dirt, it's a living ecosystem filled with microorganisms that break down organic matter, unlock nutrients, and protect plants from disease. When that underground system is thriving, plants don't just survive, they flourish. At the heart of this method is the idea that your land already holds everything it needs. The microbes in your soil are uniquely adapted to your climate, your rainfall patterns, and your specific conditions, rather than importing commercial fertilizers or lab-grown inoculants. KNF teaches you how to collect and multiply these native organisms, turning your own environment into a self-sustaining engine of fertility. The process begins with something surprisingly simple: capturing indigenous microorganisms, often called IMOs. This is where many people realize just how powerful this method really is. By placing cooked rice in a breathable container and leaving it in a shaded, undisturbed area, you allow local microbes to colonize it naturally. Within days, a white, fuzzy growth appears. That growth is not decay, it's life. It's a concentrated culture of beneficial organisms that already belong to your land. Once collected, this microbial culture is stabilized using brown sugar, which preserves and feeds it. This creates a base input that can be stored and later diluted into water to inoculate soil, compost, or planting areas. What makes this step so effective is that it doesn't introduce foreign biology. It strengthens what's already there, making the soil more resilient and better able to support plant growth over time. Another cornerstone of Korean natural farming is fermented plant juice, commonly referred to as FPJ. This is where local plant knowledge becomes incredibly valuable. Instead of buying nutrient solutions, you harvest young, fast-growing plant tips from species that are already thriving without human intervention. These plants have adapted to your environment, and their growth energy is captured through fermentation. By mixing chopped plant material with brown sugar and allowing it to ferment, you draw out a nutrient-rich liquid filled with enzymes, minerals, and beneficial compounds. Once strained and diluted, this liquid becomes a powerful input that feeds both plants and soil life. The effect is often noticeable within weeks. Plants respond with deeper color, stronger stems, and increased vigor because they are receiving nutrients in a form that works in harmony with their biology. What makes KNF stand out is not just individual techniques, but the system as a whole. Each input supports the others. Microbes improve soil structure and nutrient cycling, fermented inputs provide accessible nutrition, and the overall ecosystem becomes more balanced. Over time, this reduces the need for pest control because healthy plants are naturally more resistant. It also improves water retention, which is especially important in areas facing inconsistent rainfall or drought conditions. For those used to conventional gardening, this approach can feel almost too simple. There are no complicated formulas or expensive tools. The materials are often things you already have: rice, sugar, plant matter, and a bit of patience. But simplicity doesn't mean weakness. In fact, it's the opposite. This method works because it aligns with natural processes that have been functioning for thousands of years. Starting with KNF doesn't require a complete overhaul of your garden. The most effective way is to begin small and just observe. Collect your first batch of indigenous microorganisms and apply them to a section of soil or maybe a compost pile. Make a simple fermented plant juice and use it on just a few plants. Watch how they respond. Pay attention to changes in soil texture, moisture retention, and plant health. These observations will teach you more than any manual ever could. As your confidence grows, you can, expand into other preparations such as fish amino acids or natural calcium inputs, each one designed to support specific stages of plant growth. But honestly, even without these additions, just the combination of IMOs and FPJ alone can totally transform a struggling garden into a productive, living system. What's happening here goes way beyond just gardening. It's really a shift in perspective. Instead of seeing soil as something to be corrected with external inputs, it becomes something to be understood and nurtured. This mindset not only leads to better crops, but also builds long-term fertility, reducing dependency on outside resources year after year. For anyone who's serious about sustainable growing, this method offers a path that is both practical and empowering. It proves that high productivity doesn't have to come at the cost of soil health or financial strain. Honestly, it shows that the answers are often closer than we think, hidden in plain sight beneath our feet. If this guide opened your eyes to what's possible, don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe to Nature's Flora, share this with someone who's ready to rethink how they grow, and, join the conversation in the comments. The more people who return to working with nature, the stronger our soils and our future become.